Hey everybody, so after sinking a good amount of time during the early access period, close to 40 hours at the time of putting this together, here are some things I wish I knew sooner that may help you with starting out in your Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 journey. This can be applied to the campaign too, but it's more so on the operations mode. Just use the timestamp below, but I highly recommend you watch it in its entirety as it's jam-packed full of information that's hard for me to break it down into smaller segments. You're bound to learn something you didn't know, and feel free to leave tips and tricks that you found. If you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel as these videos take me a lot of time to put together, and I'd appreciate it. Now, whether you're playing on controller or keyboard and mouse, you can quickly move from the launching bay to the armoring hall. I don't know what it is on controller, so feel free to let me know. But if you're on PC, just hold tab. So whether you're waiting around for a friend or waiting for the next mission or the PvP match to start, you can easily go from one place to another without having to run there. Another thing that you can do in operations during a mission is to hit tab and you'll be able to see what's in your teammates' inventory, their abilities, as well as what's in yours. Master the melee combat in this game and avoid spamming attacks. I think a common mistake, myself included in the beginning, is overusing the melee attack without proper timing can leave you wide open for attack. Try mixing in dodges, blocks, and parries. It may take some getting used to, but learn the timing for parry and dodges. Perfect parry or dodges can open enemies up for powerful counterattacks or execution. Even if you find your health low, stay aggressive sometimes allows you to perform those execution or gun strikes, which can be crucial for survival in this game. Gun strikes and execution moves are great for regenerating back your armor. How many armor charges you have depends on your class, which can be found right underneath your red health bar. You can look for opportunities to perform gun strikes which don't use up any of your ammo, so certainly take advantage of it. It is indicated by a red crosshair on an enemy. There's been so many times I played as a bulwark when my plasma gun had no ammo and I was able to do a gun strike on an enemy to either stagger them or finish them off, which can be a lot quicker than an execution. The execution moves on staggered enemies are indicated when they are glowing red. As you're fighting, you don't always have to immediately go for an execution of an enemy since they do remain staggered for a brief time period, but definitely do it if you're trying to recover contested health, which is the portion of your health bar that turns white when you take damage and depletes over time. Restoring this health requires dealing damage quickly to enemies. Executions will stop contested health depletion and restore your health bar, so use them whenever possible to stay in the fight. You can strategically use executions to avoid an oncoming attack. Knowing when to go for an execution helps you become invulnerable during the execution animation. You can also chain these for continuous armor recovery, or if you have a vanguard on your team to do so, since they do have an ability that restores the team's health every time they use it. However, during the interactions with doors and other things, you don't get those iframes. Don't be afraid to switch up weapons and utilize them for different situations. Chain swords are great for close combat, the Melta gun for crowd control, bolters for range, and special weapons like the plasma pistol for tougher enemies. And understand what the different weapons do, as the weapons do have different defense modes to avoid failed parries. Balance for moderate parry, fencing for wider parry windows, blocking mitigates damage but you can't parry. Now to break down the blue versus the red or orange flash attacks that you may see. Blue attacks can be blocked or parried, while seeing a red or orangish looking one attack should be dodged, or if there's a nearby enemy for you to go for an execution to avoid taking that damage as previously mentioned. Parry blue attacks from smaller enemies for quick armor top off. Larger enemies have delayed attacks, so be careful if you are trying to go for parries. Consider perfect dodges instead of parry for larger enemies, since those are easier for you to pull off versus trying to parry them. Armor sets are unlocked simply by successfully completing missions regardless of difficulty, and once you unlock a set, you unlock its individual armor piece as well. Victories in Eternal War PvP mode also count towards this, as you may notice while in the armoring hall when you hover over certain armor parts. You may notice this yellow icon at the top right in certain menus. This is Requisition that is shared between the different modes, Operations and the Internal War. That can be used to unlock a multitude of things from cosmetics for your Space Marine and weapons. This can also be used to unlock new perks and other things in Operations. I recommend prioritizing what you need over cosmetic unlocks, especially earlier on, and completing all the different trials for a nice chunk of 450 Requisition and a bunch of green Armory Data before you ever have to step foot into a mission. Also be sure to spend them, as you're capped out at 990 Requisition if you find yourself getting close to that amount. For Operations, up at the top right, you may notice green, purple, and yellow chips. These are different rarities of Armory Data shared across all the different classes. Armory Data is capped at 20 per tier, and what is nice is that you can use the higher tier data to unlock the lower tier ones. I recommend working on leveling at least 2 classes if you're not playing this with a set group of friends. If you're queuing up with random, as in this mode there can only be one of each class, and sometimes you might join up with others who may be running the same class as you. It will be unavailable for you to select, or if you join someone from the start, you can't load into the mission unless everyone has a different class. Each of the classes has its own unique perk tree with 24 points spread across, whether it's offensive abilities, defensive ones, group buffs, gear, and signature abilities. Unlock these as you level up. If you take a look at all the different classes, you may notice some weapons are shared across multiple ones, like the bolt rifle, the bolt pistol, and the chainsword. I recommend leveling up these as it can be used across the other ones, and it's not limited to just one specific class for better efficiency, and consider doing the higher tier difficulties even if your level is slightly under for better reward and experience. One of the easier, more manageable missions that I've personally been farming is the 6th mission, the one with the sandstorm. Now, I don't remember what the name is exactly, but I'll try to show it here on screen. This is just a defensive mission to hold down a point compared to the other ones where you're going against the Thousand Suns, which can be more difficult because of their different abilities that they have. Focus on upgrades that complement your playstyle. If you prefer range combat, upgrade your bolter, or if melee, enhance your chainsword. Experiment with weapon mods since you can reset them for free. Some might offer unique advantages like faster reload or increased damage against a specific type of enemy, depending on the mission you plan on taking. Leveling up your weapon also unlocks perks for those weapons, though you need to spend mastery points in order to activate them. You can earn mastery points by playing the game and leveling up your chosen weapon, or by spending an Armory Data point to max out the weapon from the armoring hall. Be sure to unlock new weapon tiers with the Armory Data that you've gathered when they become available. Otherwise, XP gained with that weapon won't count towards progress. Make use of your environment, whether it's for cover or to gain a tactical advantage. Some areas might have explosive barrels or ledges to push enemies off. Also noting where the ammo resupply boxes are, stims, and armor boosters. While most areas in this game are quite linear, take your time exploring the levels whether you're playing the campaign or especially in operations. Don't rush through them, as you can find plenty of different resources that may help your team and you with survival, which can be crucial in tougher fights. Keep an eye out for these stacks of greenish crates. Roll or melee them to either find ammo, armor boost, or sometimes stims, which you can only carry a maximum of 2. Stim kits are crucial for restoring your health and removing the mortal wound debuff, but it becomes less effective on the higher difficulties. Overhealing your health with a stim is the only way to clear mortal wounds, so use them wisely. Armor boosters are great when you're low on armor or want to top off. This will replenish missing armor and give you an extra charge you wouldn't otherwise have, indicated in the blue. You can find Guardian Relics, which are self-revive for either yourself or your teammate who has one on them. Note where these are at on that mission, since given my experience it seems like they spawn at fixed points. When you get incapacitated, you may notice this at the top left corner right next to your health bar, an icon with a skull. If you go down with a mortal wound, you will have to wait for a countdown timer before you can spawn again. Use this wisely as they can save you from death without the mortal wounds debuff, but you can only carry one at a time. So decide when to use it based on the situation, especially on the harder difficulty missions in operations. Keep an eye out for Servo Skull, as this will net you Armory Data to the difficulty you're playing on, and you'll have to successfully complete the mission to claim them. These, from my personal experience, can spawn in either 1 or 2 or possibly 3 locations, so make a note when you come across them on the different missions so you can come back and check when you're doing it again. For every mission you go, there's always a chance that you'll run into a mini boss before completing the mission. So far it can be the Carnifex, the Zoanthrope, or the Hellbrute. Defeat them and finish the mission to claim the Armory Data based on the difficulty that you're on. Every mission that you go on, your team should look out for a gene seed, which gives your whole team experience that scales based off of the difficulty that you're playing. However, if whoever is holding it goes down just once, it's gone for the rest of the mission, and you must successfully complete the mission in order to reap the rewards. Protect the person holding the gene seed at all costs. The Vanguard and the Sniper class are ideal to hold these if their classes is leveled up due to their cheat death perk. Be mindful of your ammo. Use melee attacks when swarms, or save special ammo for critical moments when going against tougher foes like the Zoanthropes. While in a mission, you'll come across these pods, which are Loadout Terminals. These allow for weapon switching and fully restock ammo during missions. Just reselect the loadout you're already running unless you're actually wanting to switch. If playing with others, try to coordinate attack, focus fire on tougher enemies, or use your ability to support your team. And definitely try to learn enemy attack patterns. Each enemy type has its patterns, and learning these can help you predict and counter their attacks more effectively. Prioritize taking out enemies like the Tyrannid warriors with the twin bone swords or the warrior with the venom cannon. These are traps that can make your screen turn green when you get poisoned, obscuring your visibility and abilities. Shoot the pod part in the center for them to go away. The reason why you want to prioritize taking out these elites is because it severs the Tyrannid synapse, the hive mind connection they have, causing the smaller enemies to die and shorten the fights and resources you have to expend. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thanks for watching.